This is trade recap for Wednesday, December 12th, FMOC day today. So I took two trades, one for scratch, and then the other one was for like $80. I didn't trade the 11 o'clock news just because it tends to be pretty volatile. So yeah, let's get into the trade. Okay, so the first trade, and the reason why for the first trade is the market had some news at 7 a.m. in the morning. Sorry, at 5:30 a.m. PPI. It pushed up and then came down, tested the zone right here, and then bounced right back up. Okay, so when that usually happens is I'm always looking for the reversal trade up here, but that never occurred. So it came all the way back down and took out the liquidity down here, right? It ran a bunch of stops down here. On the 5 minute chart, same thing. You'll see this low here. It went and took out all the liquidity down here. So now there's support zone on the 5 minute, support zone on the 15, just heavily support zone down, a lot of support zone. And then on the 1 minute, there's support zones down here as well, right? So the first trade is basically I'm looking for a long. Once the liquidity has been, taken out, I'm looking for a long targeting this VWAP, right? And also the gap zone, right? And it's a good area too, just because you see this pocket right here, right? This piece right here is not a lot of traded, not a lot of trades happen over here. So if it can't push through here, the chances are that it's gonna spike all the way up, right? With no contest. Okay. So I based my trade actually not on the 5 minute, which is hasn't occurred because it's negative delta. I based it on the 1 minute because I know that if it doesn't happen here, the reversal doesn't happen here, it's never going to happen, right? So I believe at the end of this bar here, when this bar closes, I enter a long targeting the 5 minute VWAP, right? So let's see how that turned out. So I'm prepping the order right here. Now this is probably not a good trade. It had negative delta. Okay, negative delta on the 5, negative delta on the 15. So there was no reason for me to take this trade right here. I believe the reason I kind of took it was it bounced off this zone here, right? So this is a POC zone right here, both of these, right? Plus, I also saw down here where it touched the LVN here on the 15 minute. Okay. Now, just based on that, is not good enough for me really, just because negative delta, and negative delta, right? So this was a bad trade. This was a bad long, right? Just thinking about it. Now, my thought process was basically if it could push through, if it could push through here, it's gonna go ahead and spike all the way up here. So that was what I was hoping. But again, hope doesn't turn into profit sometimes. And this one here, was not a good trade. Okay, just thinking about it now. So you'll see that as I've continued to play it, you'll see that it gets stuck right here, right? Not a lot of movement, right? Back and forth, back and forth. Now I put my stop at the low of the POC zones right here, right? So if it take it out, you know, um, I'm fine with that. So it is trying to push through, and at this point, I realized that hey, this is the bad trade. It did follow the rule, right? It had a negative delta here, had a negative delta here, and it had negative delta there. Not a good trade at all. So yeah, I took quite a bit of heat here. So my next thought process during this is basically how do I get out, right? So when this whole thing plays out, I got out right about here, just for like a 2 tick profit. Now I stayed in here just because I do see a PLC zone right here. So if it breaks that, then my stop would likely get hit. But I did see this here. So I'm taking a little bit of heat here. And at this point, I realize that it's just a bad trade here. So I'm looking for a way to maybe get out of this trade if I can. But I did see this PLZ zone. So that was the piece where, you know, I'm thinking that it might, just bounce right off here and shoot up. It did play out that way, but, you know, uh, hindsight, this is a bad trade. It came close to it, rejected it. Now it's going to go and try to push to the top there. So I still left my stop there. It shouldn't go through this if this is the bottom, right? Okay, so I see it coming back to my target. Now you see the point of control there. It's at the top of the bar, right? So that's not a good sign for a long. So I get out right there, right? Just kind of save my bacon a little bit. So now I'm looking for another trade here. If this 5 minute bar here is a positive bar, right? Is an up bar. Point control is below the close, and this is a positive delta. I'm going to take this trade here. So now my target would be here, a very tiny target, because that's the VWAP, and then that's also the gap zone. Now it has to give me enough room here. If it goes shoots all the way up, touches it, and comes back, that's an invalid long trade, right? Because it's already been tested. So let me fast forward this. Okay, so I prepped the order for long. I see no rejection. Took the entry, target there. Move my stop down to this POC zone right here. So this I'm pretty comfortable with just because it broke the EMA on the 1 minute. Right, you got support here. You got a gap zone right there. It held. You got point control there as well, right? So everything's going good for you here for this to hit that target. And there you go. It hit the target. I got out. Now I would not hold on to this until I see what happens inside this gap zone, right? So it takes a little bit for buyers to chew up this area right here. The point control shifted, right? So sellers there, there's sellers selling up here. A lot of transaction happening at the top of the bar here, hitting on the 50-minute VWAP as well. So it's testing it pretty hard. This is overbought as well, right? This reading. So if you're in the long there, you probably would not keep it just because you see exhaustions up here. The good thing is that there's buyers in here, right? Decreasing sellers. So that's going for you if you're long. But this momentum indicator there, it's just massively overbought. So it takes a little bit to chew through all this area right here of all the sellers, right? And also, do you see that it touched the EMA as well? So good spot to sell out here. But eventually, all the sellers are gone. The buyers then pumped it up a little bit more. So yeah, that's the trade for today. I didn't trade the 11 o'clock news. I didn't see an entry there at all on the after 11 because it just spiked up. So there's no way for me to get in. So I didn't take any trade in the afternoon. All right, so that's a recap for today, Wednesday the 13th. Another positive day. So anytime it's positive, it's good.